Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here with Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and once again it's time for a GPP day, but a quick reminder, if you guys will please click a like and drop me a comment down below, I'd appreciate it. Decided to do a little more than I normally do because I want to work more and more on body composition. I didn't run today. I ran 2 times this week. I feel like 2 up to 3 times a week is enough just to maintain my general fitness at the moment. I'm not concerned with improving the running, so I'll bump the running back up when I want it to get better. But I feel like in the meantime, if I do more conditioning work, more general preparedness, more sled work, that will carry over into better run times, better squatting and everything. Because that's kind of how I built it. Like, people were surprised how easily I took up running. Right? I didn't run for 20 years. I took it back up and got to a pretty good level pretty fast. So the conditioning helps. So what I want to do is get more and more of the GPP in, because right now I'm really wanting my body composition to continue to improve. I want to gain muscle while losing fat, get my performance up. So I'm focusing really hard on progressive overload on my basic lifts, right? The lifts that I really care about them the most are the squat, bench, deadlift, weighted pull up. Obviously, things like dips and rows do matter to me, just to a lesser degree, but those have gone up also when I do them. So I'm wanting to push all this up, and I wanted to get, again, my forearm strength up, shoulders. I'm really trying to hammer my shoulders really hard. I feel like my delts need the most work, which, we've discussed that in the vlogs. I don't need to cover all of that in the conditioning vlogs. But again, taking 3 days a week, up to 3 days a week, weather permitting, to get out and do this stuff will carry over to my lifting. And the main thing is the improvements in body composition. And this is something you guys will notice how in shape most of the CrossFitters and other people are. It's because of this sort of stuff. Like, this is the stuff they do combined with good diet. I do all of this fasted. So I do feel like at this point for me, keeping the fasting a little more dialed in will probably help me trim body fat while gaining some muscle here. So it needs to be what I do at the moment. Just keep working on body composition. And I always laugh. People are like, if you do this much training, you eat clean, why aren't you ripped? Because I eat a lot of calories. I don't starve myself down. So that's the thing. Dudes who are getting really ripped, it's usually fat coating drugs. Yes, I hit my back with the ball there. That's what's going on. In this case, I don't ever eat really low calories, but I lost quite a bit of body fat while eating really high calories. I think people forget when they see me floating about 210 now. I used to be up in the 240s a few years back when I was at my strongest. And even then I was like 225, 226. Earlier this year, I drifted up to that, and then I did a cut. But I kept the calories pretty high, so it's just fasted work. So again, the same thing here. I feel like if I can bring the conditioning up, I might cut some of the healthy fats out of the diet and just focus on carbohydrate. All right. I'm really leaning in that direction, although I don't want all my avocados to go bad. It's a few dollars. It's not the end of the world. So that might be what I do for just a bit, and just carb. I've been protein overfeeding for a little bit, and I feel like it's helped, but I do feel like just focusing on carbohydrate and general physical preparedness might be a good way to just continue to recomposition. I want to see if the scale will slowly start drifting down again while I do that. Because again, I can probably lose fat quicker than I gain muscle, even recompositioning at this point. So again, it's what I want to do. It's what I want to do. And I'm aware I look a little squishier on the GPP days. I'm always tighter on the lifting days, it feels like. Just the nature of it. It's just the way my fluid balance goes around for some reason. Also, though, I've drank a lot of coffee and stuff by the time we get to this. But overall, looking pretty thick on these throws. I always laugh at the one clown. This one guy keeps coming through telling me, you have a weak core, you need to work on your core and lose the belt on the weighted carries. It's like he doesn't understand. I have a really strong core. I do core work, everything else. People are such clowns, right? I do the belt, though, because I feel like it gives me better core bracing while I do the stuff, better neural drive. I take it off for things I don't need it for. A lot of the band work, the arm work, the isolation type movements, I don't bother, obviously. But a lot of these big movements, yeah, I absolutely do, and it makes sense, right? It makes sense. I did like 9 sets of these. This is the most of these throws. And the reason, I feel a lot of shoulder in them, and I feel like it's helping with, it feels like this is a good shoulder mobility exercise for me. right? Because it's ballistic and it throws it into those positions. And I think people forget from me, I've said stretching doesn't work. I've tried, and I've always said this, anytime I've done months and months of stretching at any point in my life, it has never done anything at all. I've never seen any positive outcomes in 25 years from any type of stretching. Zero, nothing. It pretty much is a waste of time. And even for me, like I did a bunch of stuff that even people with degrees in physical therapy sent me, and I saw they had credentials and everything. They would give me advice. I've had a few fans who did that. It's all completely useless. Complete waste of time. But I feel like stuff like that seems to help. So anything that puts force into it, it has to be force. Like it has to be under a load. Like just stretching never improves anything. I even found the dead hangs don't even really help. Feels like anything static in nature never, ever, ever improves my flexibility or mobility at any point in my life. So stuff like that feels like it helps. Like even remember the pullovers allowed me to start doing pull-ups again. It got me to where I could do pull-ups. So I feel the same thing now just doing the dead hang pull-ups. I feel like maybe the hanging leg raises because they pulled me a little bit into that, but those throws, right? That stuff helps. This is the most sled sprints I've done. I normally do 1 to 2. I did 3 today. Right. So again, because I didn't run, I'm like, let's really push this up. Let's take up these workloads on the GPP days. Right. So again, we're getting a nice, good metabolic turnover. We're going to improve metabolic stress here. This will take up my resting calorie burn later, but it also has a hypertrophic effect. So again, I've told people for a long time, man, a lot of people could get jacked just doing GPP. As long as you're doing a few basic big exercises. But again, this is the reason so many CrossFitters and other people look good. This is what they do, combined with diet, right? All the conditioning stuff like that, the general physical preparedness. Again, stuff that is capable of stimulating growth, right? Normal lighter cardio and even some HIIT cardio doesn't always cause muscle growth. Okay, those things do. So we're combining hypertrophy with conditioning. That's a good way to enhance body composition. So again, I feel like if I keep hammering on the fasting, maybe take the fasting out longer in the morning. It'll probably help. Same way all these guys on the sugar diet are doing this stuff. But I mean, the thing is, I don't think you should be doing this sugar. You just do normal carbs. So I think for me, for a bit, I may just do my omega-3 eggs as my only real fat source. So I'm leaning in that direction today. Let's see how it feels. Main thing is I want to make sure I recover. Like I don't want to be, always the concern is being deficient in polyunsaturated fats. But if I eat a couple of omega-3 eggs every day, right? And for people who don't know what that is, go look it up. I'll get that and people say, I don't know what that is. Well, Google it. It's not difficult. Because again, we're getting some good quality PUFAs in there. I did 3 sets of the reverse hypers. You guys notice I threw another 55 on there, so I did 3 sets of 25. I feel like these work really well on my GPP days because it's not taking time out of my workout, so I can really hammer the real heavier work, and I can do, because these are higher rep. I feel like they work really well on my GPP days, plus it's almost an active recovery, and they don't interfere with my deadlifts. So notice that I did those the other day, and then I came in and my deadlifts are scaling upward. Okay, so they don't interfere with deadlifting the next day for me. So even if I do these up to 3 days a week and then I pull the next day, deadlifts are holding strong. Like my Friday workout was really good. So the GPP on the off days seems like it's feeding my squat and deadlift quite well. So now we need bench to do the same thing. But the bench, I mean, I'm pushing the bench pretty hard as it is. So I feel like probably the only thing that's going to improve it from there is going to be just dips. So maybe this coming workout I'll work in dips. And I won't do all the shoulder isolation. I'll just maybe do laterals. So I am leaning in that direction of just doing my extra big compounds some days and just doing the laterals. But I feel like laterals need to stay in, and I need stuff that hits shoulders a little on the GPP days, which is what I did. I'm like, I grabbed a kettlebell because I want to see if my range of motion is doing a little bit better. And so again, I don't have full range of motion on overhead, but it's like, I feel like stuff like dumbbells, one arm, and then maybe I wanted to try my kettlebells. I have a decent set of kettlebells. Problem is my next jump is really big. So I need to get the reps real high on this before I go to that heavier kettlebell. But I feel like I could get to a point where I do my heaviest one because I go from 25 to 40. And I got that one for kettlebell swings some time back. I have a bunch of small ones. So again, I managed to get about, I think, 15 reps for each arm, just alternated them. Took about 30 seconds between sets. They were burning like hell, but the thing is, at least I'm getting an overhead movement in, and even if it's just really high reps like this, it's still getting the movement pattern in. And then, of course, I'm doing all that shoulder work. Eventually, though, as I've said, if I can get to where I could overhead press, or even if I can get to where I can behind the neck press again, that range of motion restored, I won't feel the need to isolate my delts at all either. Okay, I feel like I could literally just do, for upper body outside, obviously my squat and deadlift, I would probably just do bench dips, overhead pressing, rows, pull-ups, and just call it, right? And occasional some band work. Then I could take the laterals out. But right now I feel like I need, because I can't lock out and do true overhead work or behind the neck, which gets those side delts even better, I need the laterals and other stuff. And then some of the days, if you guys have seen, I do 3 different angles. So again, I feel like my shoulders do need to come up a lot at this point, particularly if I get leaner. I get leaner, tighter, waist gets smaller. That'll be what I need. Because when your waist gets smaller, your arms always look bigger anyways. Everybody forgets that. Dudes go on a cut and people think they gained an inch on their arms, when their arms are actually a half inch smaller. I've seen it so many times. So, pretty happy with the conditioning today, though. It all felt good. Got my heart rate way up, especially the sled work. The sled work was brutal. After doing the other stuff, I don't want to say brutal. That's just silly. We're talking nonsense. Training isn't hard. I was definitely breathing hard. I needed a moment at the end of each of those sled pushes because that's higher intensity stuff. Not like my running, right? My running is a little more medium intensity. I did all this and then finished up with a set of hanging leg raises. I'm doing my toe to bars. Of course, I put the fat bar over there, so I don't want to try to grip that for leg raises. So I gripped that multi-grip in the center, but I squeezed out, I got 12, and I stopped at 1 set. I did 2 sets the other day. First time in a while, I had such bad abdoms, I didn't want to squat or deadlift the next day. So I did 1 set of 12, felt really good, and I called it. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.